Brent in Knoxville, Tennessee on the phone. Hey, Brent.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. What can we do for you today?
Hey, I was just calling in to springboard off what you were talking about boring radio. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about my childhood. I grew up in Connecticut.
Wait, hold on 1 second. So you're referring to, we were talking to a caller earlier in the show, and he was claiming that other shows are boring, but he likes ours, which is very convenient for us, to take that phone call and have him say that. It looks good for us.
Absolutely. And I just want to say your show is very refreshing because your attitude and the direction you're going in is completely different than what the norm is, and I think it's spectacular. And I just want to springboard off that. So I grew up in a little town really close to the Massachusetts border in Connecticut, and I was fortunate to grow up with a radio station that no longer exists. It was called WAAF. It was one of the last independent radio stations.
Yeah, it was a rock station.
Yes, it was.
Yep.
They literally played what they wanted when they wanted, which is unheard of now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember growing up listening to, I remember there was a small band, Aerosmith came on all the time, but there was a small band that no one had ever heard of called Godsmack, and they started playing them before they even signed.
Well, and also, by the way, you're talking about Boston. Aerosmith was once a small band in Boston who got some airplay.
Absolutely.
There were other radio stations around that time in that area, especially WBCN was a big one.
Yep.
There's a book about WBCN. So I used to work with a guy named Carter Allen, who is still on in Boston, and he wrote a book about those days. This is the wildest story. I still can't get over this. So the radio staff felt like the bosses weren't really on their side. So they convinced the engineer to wire a microphone above the boss's desk, and it was in the air vent. So they were hearing all of the conversations that he was privately having in his office. All of it was going to a tape recorder, and then the DJs would listen back to that tape, and he figured it out because one day he's sitting at his desk and he sees footprints on his desk. He's like, what the heck is going on? Who is standing on my desk? He looks up and he sees a microphone. He's like, who did this? It's the wildest stuff. None of that happens anymore as far as I know.
No, I mean, the things that happened back then, people don't understand. It was real radio.
Illegal.
Things happened live.
Super illegal.
It was stuff that was out of control, and it magnified.
And some of it, Brent, was terrible. Like, some of it was wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But there were innovators and there were people who were connecting with human beings. And I think that's what we're getting to. It sounds like you and I don't know what eras, it sounds like you may have grown up a little bit before me. But as a kid, the radio was my friend. And in a lot of places, that has completely been lost. And they have thrown away what's so beautiful about radio into the garbage. And they've treated it like garbage for years. And, for as long as I have the opportunity to be on your radio in Knoxville, Tennessee, or wherever you're listening, we just want to do a show that is like worth listening to, and we'll just try as hard as we can on that until one day they go, you know what, we don't want that. Okay, great. And maybe, Brent, you can invent a device that you could just pick any song you want and play it whenever you want. I've always said that would be a great idea.
Yeah.
But,
that reminds me of what happened in Canada with that radio station that played 30-second snippets of songs. It became the number one radio station, and then the record labels got together and sued them and made them stop. Remember that?
Well, you know what? They may have been onto something with all this TikTok and Instagram. Everyone, they can't even last 30 seconds. They can only last 15 seconds. Maybe it's unbelievable. Well, Brent, listen, thank you for listening to our show. It's a great honor that you're turning your radio on and spending time with us. And tell your friends if you don't mind, okay?
Absolutely.
You have a good day.